Assalamualaikum and welcome to Echotalks. I'm Muhammad Azam Khan, echowala, and this is the space where we talk about real topics that can change your life from tech to personal growth. Our speaker is the late great Sir Ken Robinson, and the topic is Bring On the Learning Revolution. In this legendary talk, Ken Robinson challenges the way we think about education. He asks a question that hits straight to the heart. What if the problem is not just that our education system is broken, but that it was never designed for the world we live in today? This talk is not only about schools, it's about life, talent, and the future of human creativity. So let's explore the wisdom of Sir Ken Robinson. Ken Robinson begins with humor as always. He recalls how his previous TED talk, Do Schools Kill Creativity, unexpectedly went viral online. 4 years later, millions had watched it, proving one thing: the world is hungry for ideas that speak to our hearts and humanity. But this time he warns us of two climate crises. The first, of course, is the environmental one, our planet in danger because of how we treat natural resources. But the second crisis, he says, is just as serious, a crisis of human resources. We are wasting our people, their talent, their creativity, their potential. Millions go through life never discovering what they are truly capable of. They don't enjoy what they do, they just endure it. They survive from weekend to weekend, from paycheck to paycheck. And then there are the few, the ones who love what they do, the ones who can't imagine doing anything else. Ken says it's not what they do, it's who they are. These are the people who found their element, the point where passion meets talent. But sadly, most people never find it, and our education systems are a big reason why. Every country, he says, is trying to reform education, but reform is not enough. Reform just means improving a broken model. What we really need is transformation, a complete revolution in how we think about learning. Why? Because education today was built for a different age, for the industrial world, where conformity, standardization, and factory style learning made sense. But today, that model no longer serves us. Human beings are not machines. We are not meant to be produced, graded, and shipped out into life. He quotes Abraham Lincoln: the dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. We must disenthrall ourselves from old ideas, ideas we have been hypnotized by, ideas like everyone must follow the same path, or success means getting a degree, or there's one right way to be intelligent. It's time to think anew, to act anew. Ken Robinson says one of the biggest barriers to change is what he calls the tyranny of common sense, the belief that this is how it's always been done. He gives a funny example: wristwatches, older generations wear them automatically, but young people don't because they don't need to. Time is everywhere on their phones, laptops, walls. The point: they live in a different world, and yet our schools are still designed for our world, not theirs. One of the most dangerous assumptions in education is linearity, the idea that life moves in a straight line. You start school, get good grades, go to college, get a job, and then live happily ever after. But as Robinson reminds us, life is not linear, it's organic. We discover our paths by exploring, by falling, and by connecting our talents to opportunities that excites us. He shares a beautiful story about a fireman he met. This man knew from childhood that he wanted to be a firefighter, but his teachers told him it was a waste of talent, that he should go to college instead. Years later, the same fireman ended up saving his teacher's life in a car accident. The story says Robinson is the perfect example of what's wrong. Our system don't value all kind of intelligence. We're obsessed with one narrow version of success. But the human progress depends on diversity of talent, not conformity. Ken compares modern education to fast food. It's standardized, mass produced, and designed for efficiency, not nourishment. He says we have sold ourselves into a fast food model of education, and it's impoverishing our spirits as fast food is depleting our bodies. We need to move away from this and towards something more customized, like a fine restaurant that adapts to local ingredients and tastes. Education should adapt to the learner, not the other way around. Here comes his most beautiful metaphor. We have to move from an industrial model of education to an agriculture model. In agriculture, you can't force plants to grow, you can only create the right conditions, light, soil, water, and then growth happens naturally. Human beings are the same. Education should be about creating the conditions for people to flourish, not forcing them into a uniform mold. Every school, every community, every child is unique, and education must reflect that. Ken closes with a poem by W.B. Yeats. I have spread my dream under your feet. Tread softly because you tread on my dreams. And he says every day, everywhere, our children spread their dreams beneath our feet. And we must tread softly because how we treat their dreams, how we shape their learning, will define not just their future but ours. Sir Ken Robinson's message is timeless. He reminds us that education is not about producing workers, it's about cultivating human beings. We must stop trying to fix the old system and start building something new, a living, breathing, creative system that celebrates curiosity, individuality, and purpose. Because the real learning revolution begins not in classrooms but in our minds. Thank you for listening to this episode of Eco Talks. I'm Muhammad Azam Khan reminding you to tread softly because every learner's dream is sacred. Take care and Allah Hafiz.